Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Ready, Steady, Rehab on Wisp Sports Radio, where we believe that women in sport deserve equal coverage.
When I told you I was going to give you advice.
Ready, Steady, Rehab is a podcast about sports injuries, what can cause them, the symptoms to look out for, and the rehabilitation process.
Well, you can't see through those innocent eyes. You're too far away to let me down.
Welcome to the show. I'm Dr. Heather North, Doctor of Physical Therapy from Red Hammer Rehab. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about what causes injuries as well as fatigue-related injury. This is a question that I get all the time at the clinic. What actually causes injuries? Especially with any type of sport, the big word here is change. Any type of change that occurs in training, intensity, mileage, insoles, shoes, the surface that you're exercising on, all of those things can cause injuries. We even see at the clinic injuries related to summer beach running on trails for the first time of the season. And then this is actually really funny, but we see an influx of patients come in at the beginning of the summer who've started to wear flip-flops. And again, it's change. It's not saying that flip-flops are bad or running on trails is bad, but that is a change that your body is not used to. As we get older, our connective tissue isn't quite as flexible, and even for younger people, making changes can have just as big of an impact. So connective tissue and bones, ligaments, all of those things change in regard to stress. And so if we are increasing our mileage, we have to do that very slowly. If we're increasing the type of surface that we're running on in regards to more hard surfaces, or if we're running more intense miles, that all needs to be done slowly in order to give all of that tissue a chance to conform to all of those new load and demands being placed on them. A big issue that I also see at the clinic is lack of warming up. I mean, this is a no-brainer, but I get it. We are stressed for time. We don't have the luxury of being able to spend an hour having coffee and warming up and doing our stretches and dynamic workouts before our actual track workout or going to the climbing gym or playing basketball. But that's actually incredibly, incredibly important. So spending 20 to 30 minutes at a low level of exercise really can make a massive difference. And this is where I tell patients, okay, so I'd much rather you spend more time on the warm-up side of things and less on the cool down. So technically you can even finish a workout and get in your car and head home. And of course it would be great if you could do just a little bit of static stretching, but in regards to injuries, the more you can kind of ease that connective tissue into what's being asked of it and all that stretching and movement will actually decrease your incidence of injury. So I like to use the analogy of a rubber band. So if we put a rubber band in the freezer, and again, this is kind of analogous to being asleep all night and not putting weight on, say, our calf muscles where there's a lot of connective tissue. And we take that rubber band out of the freezer and all of a sudden we stretch it as quickly as we can. The rubber band is going to snap and break, and that's exactly what happens to our connective tissue. So if we can take that rubber band out of the freezer, maybe run it under some warm water, slowly move it around a little bit, it's not going to break, tear, or rupture. It's the exact thing that happens with our connective tissue. Even sitting in a hot tub, taking a warm shower, all of those things can really make a difference with injuries. And actually, one of the biggest things that I recommend for patients with connective type injuries is to actually use a microwavable heating pad on that area before they exercise. So that's a huge piece of this. So again, as you're making changes with any type of training that you're doing, keep in mind that the things that you can affect are mileage, so how much time you're spending doing that activity, the type of movement that's going on, insoles. what shoes you wear, again, making small changes in all of these things. Intensity, so if you're starting to work out a little bit more aggressively, ease into that very slowly, week upon week. And then, of course, the last being surface. So if you're moving to a location where there's a lot more trails or a lot more road, again, easing into those changes. So another issue that I see a lot of times at the clinic is overtraining and injuries related to overtraining. So some signs and symptoms that we see from overtraining for patients is, fatigue, mineral depletion if they get their blood work done. Sometimes hormones are off a little bit, and also sleep issues. That's a big one I hear. All of this basically affects the recovery of your connective tissue. And so not only are you putting a lot of stress on your body in regards to training, but you're now not allowing that connective tissue and bone to heal properly. A big one that I oftentimes see too, and it's a big red flag, is high resting heart rate, higher than normal. And a lot of athletes who monitor their heart rate with like a watch or a chest strap will know exactly what that means. And then also a low heart rate response to exercise. I also hear a lot of patients having sleep issues, weight changes, either losing or gaining, mood changes, illness is a big one, and then of course seeing lots of injuries at the clinic if there is a kind of an overtraining type issue going on. So looking out for those little things can make a big difference. So if you're worried about overtraining, again, backing off mileage or intensity for a couple of weeks, letting your body rest and recover, this is going to prevent having to come into our office for a lot of these issues, making sure you're getting plenty of sleep, eating and drinking a little bit more. And of course, I always recommend getting blood work done. So making sure that, your vitamin D levels, iron, red blood cells, all of that stuff is looking really good because that can affect your connective tissue integrity.
Conversations from the world of women's sports. This is Wisp Sports Radio.
I hope you found this helpful. And if you'd like more information, please visit my website at redhammerrehab.com, provided in the show notes. And you can also email info@wispsports.com with any questions you may have about sports injuries. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about iliotibial band syndrome, or the dreaded IT band problems and pain. There's also going to be links in the show notes accompanying this episode at wispsports.com. So just go to listen and click on Ready, Steady, Rehab. For more conversations in the world of women's sport, visit wispsports.com and subscribe to Wisp Sports Radio on your podcast player. You can also post your comments and share on social media, so just look out for @RedhammerRehab and @Wisp Sports. Thank you so much for listening and supporting women in sport.
When I told